topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Eat and Critique Show with restaurant critics Steve-O and Sophia. Brought to you by one of Steve-O and Sophia's favorite Incontro Italian cuisine and steakhouse located on the Walk in Coral Springs. Now, sit back while award-winning restaurant critics Steve-O and Sophia share with you the good, the bad, and the ugly in South Florida dining.
Good evening and welcome to another Eat and Critique Show with Steve-O and Sophia.
Why do you have a big smile on your face?
Because tonight's going to be a fun night.
It is.
We always talk about what we as restaurant patrons expect from restaurants. But it's going to be fun to hear some of the really brutally honest and some funny stories, not so funny stories that maybe they have to deal with that we don't ever know about.
So we chose a restaurant that Sophie and I, it's a sports bar that Sophie and I love going to. The food is really good, but the manager there, and we're not going to be giving out any names of the restaurants, but the manager there, she is amazing. And we said, you know what? We've never had a manager just to talk about operations of a restaurant.
Exactly. And some of their horror stories and maybe not some horror stories. I'm sure they have to deal with a lot of things. So we want to welcome Mad Dog to the show.
Hi, everyone.
She doesn't look like a mad dog.
No,
I know it's a deceptive name, but
yes, it is.
the bark makes up for it, and that's part of what my job is. I have to act a certain way, but they're never expecting it. No, I love the nickname.
How did you get the Mad Dog nickname?
Jail time. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. When I started at the restaurant I work at, it was about 8 years ago, and I was very shy. I didn't speak to anyone unless spoken to, and I always stayed out of the way. I was a hostess. And the chef at the time thought it would be really funny to call me Mad Dog, and it was at the time an ironic name, and then I grew into it. It is now on my schedule. People only refer to me as Mad Dog. Only exclusively. So that's that.
I knew you way back then. You don't remember. My sister and I used to go in there and you were quiet.
Yeah, I was probably your server or the very quiet hostess or the bartender, because I've been all three of those too before.
But you know, one of the things that we noticed that other people probably don't, because we're restaurant critics, is your staff has so much respect for you, and respect has got to be earned.
Yeah. It was a weird transition because a lot of the people that are there right now, I've been working with them since I started, some of them. And so I told everybody as soon as, the promotion happened, I said, this is going to be weird for me because now I'm going to have to tell you what to do. And I'm not really going to enjoy doing that, but just bear with me, please, because I'm going to handle you with as much respect as humanly possible. I really respect them too. And I really love my team.
And
everyone.
They love you. They do. Yeah. They love you.
I'm trying to be the nurturing kind when we have 3 managers, right? The other 2 are, there's something. There's something, and a lot of the time I feel like I'm the one that's approachable. So, they'll be really angry and in their moods, but then everyone comes to me. So yeah, I try to bear that weight as best as I can.
I got to tell you, I think the roughest part about your job we're here in South Florida, and even though you're a sports bar, we see a lot of older people in your restaurant, and they seem like they are the hardest to please. They could actually finish their entire dish and tell you they didn't like it and they want their money back.
Every night. Every night. At least one or two tables every night. And I'll tell you, actually, the worst, the like rudest type of guest that I've noticed on average is unfortunately like, and I don't mean to generalize anybody, but every single time it happens, it's always an older person. It's usually the Sunday after church,
Whoa.
which is interesting to me.
Yes.
But usually when I'm dealing with people like that, it's yeah. Or someone that didn't read the menu, you know. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, there have been times when I want to laugh in people's faces and I really can't. That's actually the hardest part of my job.
Biting your tongue.
Biting my tongue. Yeah.
There
It
are
has caused me to develop a lot of patience.
I don't know how you do it because I have seen some customers coming in that look like trouble.
Oh yeah.
Some of them are really rude to their server.
Very. We've heard it.
Oh yes. And that's another part of, I think, that the respect from the team comes from is because I will stand up for them. Because I know for a fact that absolutely none of my servers are ever purposely being rude or nasty or anything like that. And if they are, they get sent home. That's very rare. So whenever someone's being rude to the server, I know that there's probably not a good reason for it. And if it gets really out of hand, you know, I don't tolerate it at all if I'm on the shift.
Did you ever have to call a police officer to come in because it is a sports bar and the bar area does get a little rowdy and there are some big games that are showing? I was just curious because I've never seen it. Just curious.
So I have to call the police for some reason once every 2 weeks on average.
Wow,
This
that's
can
a
be
What?
Yeah, you don't think that it's a lot, like, you know, you don't think that it's going to happen that often, but a lot of times it's for medical reasons. Sometimes we get some people that they might have taken something, they don't really know where they are. Like there's a lot of people in the parking lot where I work that aren't so savory. And so half the reason is that, but other times it's bar fights. We have people that will come in and they'll place bets on a game or who's going to win, and then they get drunk, they lose the bet, and they get mad. But then there's the guys at the bar. They'll start talking about the three things you shouldn't talk about at a bar. One of them is politics. Usually it's always that one, religion, and there's three things, and I can't remember the third one. But there's bar topics
Women.
that I will tell you to stop talking about because it gets people all around the bar angry, and that starts problems. I've had to call the police to have people trespass because they won't leave when I tell them to get out.
Wow.
I have a couple stories prepared to get more into this this part of it.
You don't have a bouncer, so how do you handle when there's a fight?
She's the bouncer, Mad Dog.
I haven't had to break up people. Typically, you know, while we do have some crazy people that come to the bar, we also have really great people that come to the bar. Like we have awesome guys that are there like every day, and when there's a problem, they'll step in and stop it. Same with our chefs in the back. They're big, so if I'm having a really big problem with someone I definitely can't physically like handle, they'll come out and they'll help.
Oh, have you ever been afraid
Yeah.
at work?
Yeah. A lot of the times I'm the last person in the building, and it's kind of scary uh every night almost, because we have a theory that we have a ghost somehow. There's a lot of random noises throughout the night, and so I get a little nervous, and I'm walking to my car in a parking lot that's dead empty at 1 in the morning. And so like I've got my pepper spray and everything, and it's a little spooky. And then there's people that have threatened to hurt me when they get mad.
Wow.
Um, and you never know, like if they're gonna leave and come back with a weapon, or if they have a weapon. You just don't know. I mean, there was a time where, thank goodness, I wasn't actually there, but a guy came in when the two other managers were there, and he had a machete. A
Wow.
machete. And
Oh,
he
that gives
kept,
me chills.
yeah, and he was waving it around and talking crazy. My other manager, he's big. Like I said, he had to take the guy and headlock him and drag him outside until the police came. Now that's a rare occurrence, but honestly, like with the way things are, you never know who's going to come in with what. And so the whole biting your tongue thing is important, because I could say the wrong thing to the wrong person and they could just do whatever they wanted. Um, it can be a little scary sometimes, but it's
No
pretty
kidding.
rare. That's a pretty rare occurrence, you know?
You're considered the front of the house, is that right?
That's right.
I have a question because I don't know if I've ever told you this, that I went to culinary school, became a chef. How do you stay consistent? Because aren't there always people calling in sick?
Yeah, there sure is.
How does
Um,
your food stay consistent?
well, for every single shift, we always have a chef there. And typically, he's not scheduled to be on the line. So if someone calls out, he'll go on the line. There have been also times where he's not there and someone walks out, and I have to go back there and
Oh my
attempt to make your
gosh.
burgers. But that's also quite rare. But yeah, we get call outs every day. um, we either just fill the position ourselves, or we have to pull someone off another station to fill it in. That happens with servers pretty much every day. I actually got a text before I got on the show here that someone was calling out, and I was like, yeah, go tell them, because I am not there today. They can figure that out.
I
Um,
actually saw you in the kitchen one time. I
mhm.
did. I
I'm
was looking
usually,
for you.
if I'm in there, I'm on Expo. I'm on Expo if I'm in there. And I love Expo. I love it. If anybody doesn't know what Expo is, it's like pulling the food when it's ready, organizing the ticket to be sent off to the table, and like usually one person to keep that organized is in charge of it. I love that. It's so fun because I don't have to talk to anybody.
This is
Sometimes you
going to
gotta give it a break sometimes. I mean, it's a customer service mask that gets to fall off for a little while.
sound, I got to tell you, this is going to sound really strange. I watch Bar Rescue all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think about you, Mad Dog. I think about, God, if they had Mad Dog there, they wouldn't have the problems that they're having. And they're usually stupid problems. People don't get it or they don't care to get it.
Yeah. What is it? Bar rescue, so it's just bars? I don't
Yeah,
think I've
but
ever
they
seen it
usually
before.
serve food too, though. They're like
Okay.
you.
So like what do they do on the show?
So usually the bartenders are drinking half the profits.
Oh, okay.
Are the family members giving away free drinks to everybody?
Mm,
Or,
yeah.
you go back in the kitchen and it is
Gross.
yeah, so gross. I mean,
I'm pleased to say that we are generally very organized and clean. Like actually. And so thankfully we don't have the problems of the bartenders drinking on the job or giving stuff away. I mean, we really can't, because it's like a corporate thing. Like we're not
yes.
family owned. So it's like a corporate thing, and so you can't get away with doing all that. And the kitchen is a clean kitchen. I will say it is good.
We never see, they always announce kitchens that don't pass
Mm-hmm.
health regulations. And I'm not saying it hasn't, but I've never seen one of your restaurants on there.
No,
Sure.
no, it's very tight organization with that. But uh I'm always shocked to hear when one of my favorite restaurants down here is like shut down because their kitchen was terrible. I'm like, ew,
Yes,
I eat there all the time. Gross.
Right,
I know.
right. You know what's impressive is you're very young. You're in your early 20s.
She's 12.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're so mature. You're so different from, I'm not generalizing, but is it hard to find workers at a certain age now for the
Yes.
restaurant industry?
Yeah. One thing I'm going to say about the restaurant industry as a whole, and this probably applies to every restaurant, every single person in there is a character. They are all a character, including me. And usually it's a lot of people that the ones that thrive in the restaurant business, again, including me, are the people with ADHD, autism, actually, really big.
The
It's
servers?
I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's such a stimulating job, like you're not sitting somewhere for hours in a cubicle.
Right.
Usually like all of the servers, the line cooks, the bartenders, like we'd all agree that we don't have the span to just sit and stare at like a computer and do a corporate job for 8 hours a day. We have to move, and you don't even get an organized break. You make your own time for a break. But and it is strange to be young in terms of like what my job is, because there's plenty of 25-year-old servers, but the managers all around me in corporate, they're all at least double my age.
Yes.
And so when I'm in a meeting, like I was just in a meeting on Friday, it was just strange. Because these guys are all just like 50-year-old dudes, and I'm just sitting there looking like this. I got my pink little planner out. Um, yeah, it's a little bit. It's alienating. So when it comes to like hiring new people that are like in the younger generation, I have noticed that the attention span really isn't there. Because we hire like 16 to 18-year-olds to host or food run, for the entry level positions. And when I was a hostess, I was on the ball. I was on the ball, and so was everybody around me, and we were all 18. Um, but now it's really those phones, man. I'm not even like I'm not even older, so I'm not the stereotype for older people saying that, is annoying, but I'm not even older. It really is those phones. It is impossible to get them off those phones. The hostesses, love them so much,
Oh,
but I don't know what it is. Like it's just different now.
do
I
you
don't know if it was
interview the
COVID. I don't know.
servers?
Huh?
Do you interview the servers?
Yeah, I
What do
have.
you look for when you're interviewing a server?
I don't look at age first off. I don't look for that. I look for the first thing is how you dressed to come in. How did you prepare yourself for the interview? Do you have your resume? Do you have I'm
Hmm.
not even necessarily looking at previous experience because we can train you however we want to train you. I'm looking at what you presented yourself as. If you're wearing jeans or flip-flops, nope. Um, nope. I had a girl come in with like a Juicy Couture tracksuit on. I was like, "Are you joking?" To an interview. And then besides that, it's really honestly how you speak. Um, I don't know how to really explain that. It's just how a person carries themselves. If they can keep up with my questions, because it's a stressful job. I need to know how they handle stress. That's one of my first questions I ask them. It can be really fast paced. It can be really stressful. But it can also be a lot of fun. So Yeah, that's a couple of the first things I look for, as well as, just basic things like transportation's a really big one. If you can't get here reliably, we're gonna have problems because people are gonna expect you to be able to show up and take
Right.
tables. We're gonna get busy around 5 o'clock. If you're not here, we're screwed. So you need reliable transportation, that's for sure.
How do
Yeah.
you train them to handle situations that might arrive for a server?
So you mean like an upset customer or something
Upset
like that?
customer.
So I tell each and every one of them, most of them already know this, but when we get someone new, what I tell them to do, like if someone's really upset with them, to immediately just stay calm, stay polite no matter what. Like don't give them a reason to be able to say anything against you. Especially if there's like a corporate complaint that they're trying to do. You don't want to have them say that you were rude and then you get in trouble because you were actually rude back. So like just do not argue. Tell them immediately that you're getting a manager and wait for us to handle it.
Ah, gotcha.
All right, now I want to hear some of the juicy stories that are
Of course.
happening that nobody
Of course.
knows about, or I mean, like that one. I mean, there's some good and there's some bad,
Right.
and there's some funny and there's not so funny.
I'm going to
So-
tell you one first that actually just happened on Mother's Day. And
Oh.
it's both funny and bad. Funny to me, anyway. Mother's Day at night, around probably 10 o'clock at night. So we're going to close in like an hour. This woman comes in around my age. I know her, and I'll get into that. She comes in alone on Mother's Day with her two 5-year-old-ish kids. I know this woman because she is the ex-wife of a guy I dated in high school. And that guy turned out to be a real loser. And we bonded over that. Because she had married the guy and had 2 kids with him. And we bonded over the fact that he was just terrible and that he turned out awful. And I had known her already for a couple years. But she comes in on this Mother's Day at night with the kids, late for those kids, and drunk.
Oh no.
And
Like mother, like son.
yeah,
Well, what's
I
sad
guess
is 5 years old and they're coming in at 10 o'clock at night
Yeah.
to a restaurant.
and I had seen her a few times in the last couple years for sure. She comes in plenty and she's normally okay. And I am always nice to her. I'm always asking her how she's doing, how are the kids, because the kids are just so sweet. They did not deserve any of this encounter, I'm telling you. Their dad might suck, but they do not. And so I go up to her. I'm like, "Hey, how are ya?" She was looking for a phone charger, so I I got her one, but she seemed visibly confused as to why I was even talking to her, and I thought that was really weird. So I'm still trying to talk to her. The kids all say hello to me. They know me. Um, and she I guess just had been fighting with that guy that I dated and she was married to. I guess they've been fighting because she told me she's surprised like that I'm talking to her, and she was saying this in like her drunken sentences that were very slow and very discombobulated. That she was surprised I was talking to her because he and her just had a fight, and he told her that while they were married, he had an affair with me. And she was saying
Oh
this in
my
front of the
God.
kids, in front of the
Yeah,
whole
right.
restaurant, and she was saying it with far less tact than I'm describing it. With there
Mhm.
was profanity being used, and I just stared at her like I almost smiled, like I almost broke the protocol and like laughed at her. I have been in a happy relationship for the last 5 years. I'm engaged, and I have not
Yeah.
seen that man since high school.
Yeah.
And I tried to convince her, like, even though she was super drunk, that that did not happen. And she seemed to believe me, and then 5 minutes would go by and she like forgot the whole conversation.
Oh
And I'm
my
just
God.
trying to keep the volume down on her because these 2 little kids are like just right there and they're so confused.
She must have
Sad.
been really wasted.
Did you kick her out? Please.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Oh,
So
boy.
I offer her an Uber, and I offer to buy it out of my own pocket for her. And this just sets her off so bad. She's so offended because I'm basically calling her out for being drunk with the kids. And she gets up and she gets louder, even though she had just been fine 2 seconds ago. And she forgets the whole conversation we had. And she's like, you are a W word.
Mhm.
I don't think I can say that on here. I won't. A few colorful words. You're this, you're that. You slept with my ex-husband. You're not a real manager.
Wow.
Whatever she could drunkenly think of was coming out of her mouth. And so I told her, okay, it's time to get out of here. You got to go. And the kids are crying. And she goes up to the server to hand him her check, and she asks him, "Did you know that your manager is a W word?" And then she goes
Wow.
up to the front. She goes up to the hostess. She does the same thing. And the hostess, my poor hostess, she was so confused. And I follow him up there. I'm like, okay, no, we're not gonna do this. You need to go. You need to leave. And she's like, you can't make me leave. You're not a real manager, this and that. And so
Oh,
I told her, I was like, I absolutely can make you leave. And if you don't, I'm gonna call the police. She didn't want to listen to me. So I was like, okay, so I'm going to call the police. And now you're going to get in some trouble because you are getting trespassed. A, if you don't walk out this door, but B, if you get in a car, you're
Mhm.
you're intoxicated. Like I was going to get you that Uber. You didn't want to take me up on it. And so now you're really extra screwed. And she grabs the kids and goes out the door, and she starts trying to walk with these kids down you know where there's a Starbucks in our parking lot, but it's
Right.
11 o'clock at night at this point. She's walking with these tiny crying children screaming
No.
at me over her shoulder, as I'm actually on the phone with the police giving them her full description, her full
Good.
name, because now you just got yourself a DCF case.
yes.
Mhm.
You just got
Yeah.
yourself child services on you because of what you're doing. She takes these kids to like this dark um drive through of this coffee place, the Starbucks, and then she's walking them over, she's trying to get to the road, the sidewalk of the road, and that gas station that we
Jeez.
have on the
Yes,
corner there is not
dangerous.
safe. It's not a good parking
Dangerous.
lot at night. And
No.
so I'm telling them on the phone, I'm like, can someone please just come get this woman? This is crazy. We're talking about somebody who's been kind of my friend for a while, and I have her on social media and everything, and she's coming to my job and acting like this. Um, it was crazy. It was like actually unbelievable. I didn't think that dating somebody at 15 was gonna have this butterfly effect in the future. She proceeded to not wake up with any sense of shame apparently or embarrassment because she called my job to try to have me fired
She did?
the next morning. Yeah, said she wants to sue me for
Oh,
harassment.
oh my
Mhm.
gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Did the police obviously didn't get her then because she shouldn't have been out with kids that late at night, walking in
Yeah.
a dark parking lot, drunk. The way those people drive through there is very
Mhm.
dangerous. The kids were endangered. She had them
Yeah,
out
they
at
were.
10 o'clock at night, drunk. So they obviously never went and
I
got
don't
her.
know. I don't think they found her. I mean, she didn't get in a
So,
car, so I don't know if they would have been able to arrest her for anything or do
wow,
anything, but yeah, I don't
sad.
know. They never came into the restaurant to ask me anything either. It was just
Sad
pretty crazy.
for you
Um,
and for them. Very sad.
Mad Dog, what are your liabilities if somebody gets drunk in the bar? You've
well,
offered them a Uber and they've turned you down. Do you have to take their keys away? I mean, how do you handle that?
I'm not allowed to steal people's keys, but I basically tell them that if they don't accept the Uber, I will download it on their phone and order them an Uber and sit out there with them. That's what I've done to like really
Wow.
drunk people. I'll sit out front with them and wait for it. Um and make sure they don't get in a car, but I basically have to threaten them like, "Hey, if you don't take this offer and I see you walk out of here and get in a car, I'm calling the cops." So it's up to you what you want to happen. Do you want a DUI or do you want me to get you the Uber?
And see, as a patron of the restaurant, we don't see these kind of things happening. I don't know how you guys really sometimes deal with it because one, that lady, I don't know how you stayed so calm with her.
Yeah.
I
I-
made sure I did. I didn't want to give her anything.
Right. I don't know
Anything to be
how
able to
they
say.
do that. I mean, that would have made me so angry.
Well, at least the company understood too.
Right. Well, they
Mhm.
know her.
They
She's
did.
been there forever.
Yeah, my boss was like, "This girl is obviously crazy." I was like, "Yeah, I know." It was a surreal situation, honestly. But yeah, I mean, I was gonna tell you guys about this dude that we're on the subject of like drunk people and what we do with the drunk people, but I had to beg him to get an Uber, and I had to originally chase him down outside, you know, grown man, big guy, older, and I begged him to take the Uber, otherwise I have to call the police. He gets a little upset, but he's so drunk he can't even remember that he's upset. So I take his phone, I take his card. I'm like, "Give me your phone. Give me your credit card." And he just does it. Like, "Give me your phone, give me your credit card. What's your address? What's this? What's that?" I've had to do that many a time. And this whole time while this guy is telling me, he actually gets on the floor, like the concrete pavement, and just lays there for like
Oh,
30 minutes until the Uber
Oh
comes.
my gosh.
he's taking a
It
nap.
was
to
kind
wake
of funny.
up. Did you
It
give
was
him
pretty funny.
coffee too?
Yeah.
But
Oh
there's
gosh.
also some people that I have to do that for, and it's less funny, like people that come in and they have me outside waiting with the Uber with them and they're just drunkenly talking. They'll usually start talking about why they're there alone, getting drunk. And people have
Oh,
told me that their children just died from cancer or
Ooh.
someone's just terrible situations. And then I just feel so bad. I just have to sit out there and talk to them. You know, I feel terrible. So they probably don't have anybody to talk to.
right.
You know,
Sad.
I guess finally, what would you tell somebody who's maybe thinking about getting into the restaurant business uh, and starting as either a host or a server? What would you tell them?
I would tell them that to do it because it's what I like to call character development. I think that everyone should have to work in the food industry for some amount of time in their lives because it gives you a sense of patience, it humbles you, um, it really rounds you out really good. And if you're shy, it also will teach you how to speak to people. You have
Oh
to.
yeah.
It's great for that. I am no longer introverted. So
No,
I
you're
would
not.
recommend someone get into the business. You don't have to stay forever, but for people that are definitely doing it as like a host or like a starter kind of job, like it's a good option because you have the opportunity to make more money than you would be working like a minimum wage retail maybe or something like that. Especially if you're serving, that's fast cash.
Right.
You might not have benefits, but you're probably making like $30 an hour on a good night. And that's with
That's
no
good.
college degree, nothing, you know, you don't even have to have a lot of experience. No, it's a good option, especially if you really need the money.
So, bartenders, there's a cutoff point, isn't there, when they kind of think someone's had too much to drink?
Hmm.
Don't they have a limit where they have to say stop?
Yeah. The thing about that is when like all our bartenders, they're trained to just not even let it get to that point. However, we are also next to a liquor store in our lot. And so people will go to that liquor store in the middle of their tab being open with us or before they
Oh,
come in, and they'll drink like the little shooters and we won't know. So we'll keep
yeah.
serving them. And if someone's too like out of it, we cut them off and serve them a water. And again, we'll offer that ride home. And I tell the bartenders, if you want to cut somebody off, you don't need my permission to do it. You can cut them
Ah,
off. You don't even need my permission. Do it. Just cut them off. I'd rather, be safe than sorry. They have good judgment. Um, so they've been pretty good about that.
Great. Tell us one funny story. One last story.
Oh
Funny.
goodness. Okay.
Something cheerful.
Oh my. Give me 1 second. One moment. I'm gonna go through my notes because I have one. Oh, you know what? Okay. I got it. I just kind of had to scroll through my notes for a second. I had a few notes for this. Um, so you might think this is like scary, but I don't think it is. I think it's kind of goofy. Maybe it's just actually a little sad, but I think it's funny. Maybe that makes me a mean person. I don't know. Um, there is this guy that he's probably in his mid-20s, most likely. He comes around at like closing time most nights. I don't even know how he gets there because he's messed up. He's taken something. Um, and a lot of the times he'll come in and try to sit himself somewhere. And then as soon as someone looks at him or even says anything to him, he just gets up and runs out. Um, and it varies. It's not always like that. One time I went up to him because I told him, one time before he tried to order something and then he didn't pay and he like ran away. He was trying to take the food without paying. So anytime I see him and I catch him in time, I tell him, you can't be in here, man. Um, one time I did that. He had sat himself at a booth past closing time while we were trying to clean up. And I was like, yeah, hi, no, you gotta go. And he's like, you need to serve me. I'm the president of the United States.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't think you are.
Oh my
You certainly
God.
don't look like him. I don't think so.
That's funny.
It's sad.
Um,
See, I
there's-
don't know. That's
It
kinda
is kind of sad.
scary.
I will also tell you guys real quick about my favorite regular.
Well, I know who it is.
Yeah,
The big
who is
long
it?
hair.
Long hair.
Yeah, skinny. Yeah.
No,
I
no,
know.
no. Well, that's my fiance. If you're talking about long
No,
hair,
no,
and
no,
skinny.
no. The one
I'm
that looks
talking about the
homeless.
guy that actually pretends to be homeless.
That's the one I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. So we have a guy who comes in every single day.
Yes.
He hangs out at the Starbucks in the same lot every day from their opening to their closing time, and he helps them close the patio. And so then after he's done, he comes to us and hangs out for the last like 3 hours that we're open, and then he helps us close down the bar. And he might as well clock in. He's carrying kegs to the back room. He's sweeping the floors. He's putting the chairs up. And he just isn't he looks homeless, but
does.
he isn't actually homeless.
I know. He has money.
Yeah, like you really wouldn't know from looking at him because he looks the
No.
part, but he isn't actually. I don't know why he actually
But
pretends
he
to
holds
do
the
it.
door open for everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
I
Well,
think
the
that
one- the
sometimes he
thing-
startles people,
Yes.
but he's super harmless,
No,
and
he's
so
nice.
yeah,
He's a nice man, but
he's really
he does
nice.
look homeless. And he kind of is there protecting you too, in a way, when
Yeah.
you think about it, because you're
'Cause,
there
yeah.
a lot alone and he's still there. And
He's still there. Yeah,
So-
no, when everyone else leaves, he's probably still in the building watching his basketball game, and I leave the TV on for him, and he'll tell me if someone comes through that front door or tries to.
He
Um,
looks like he's gonna like ask you like for money,
Yeah.
But
and he doesn't though.
he has
No.
his own money.
he has his own money. He gets 6 beers a night, and he will sometimes order a full entree, and he tips really, really good. um, so we love him.
Wow, that is. Oh, I didn't know it. And he's a
Yeah,
good tipper too.
He's a great tipper.
He
Yeah,
is.
he tips like his full bill on anything he
I-
gets.
I
Oh my
personally
God.
think that he is very wealthy and doesn't want people to know who or what he has. There are
Yeah.
some people that are like
Oh,
that.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he does look homeless, and he does, but he is very, very, very nice. And I knew he tipped very well. I've
Yeah.
heard stories.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm
We
wondering-
he's pretty much everyone's favorite regular there.
I'll tell
And
you what,
yeah.
there was a time my sister and I went to the Heat game, and there was a gentleman in the front row right by the Heat bench, and he looked homeless. He really did. And every single player went up to him and talked to him. We think he's part owner. If
Okay.
you saw him, you wouldn't have guessed it.
You know what? You hear a lot of stories. Do you ever hear of just a crazy tip that somebody left?
I mean, there's multiple happenings of, people getting tipped a random $100, sometimes a random 200.
Wow.
But
Yes.
I think that the last time, I don't know, I haven't really heard lately, but I will tell you, when I was a server, I had this family come in, and it was a super normal family, just two parents and one little kid. And I guess it was the little kid's birthday. And I was their server, and I was, very nice to them, as I'm nice to every table, and just took good care of them. I gave the kid a free birthday dessert and sung to the table. Um, I don't really think that I did anything super remarkable, but they left cash for the check, and I looked in the book, and there was $300 in there.
Wow.
$300 bills. So they couldn't have made the mistake. Like, they weren't even
Right.
stuck together. That was like purposeful. And the bill was only like $50.
Wow.
And I was like,
Oh my gosh.
I very confused. I don't even know how that happened.
Wow.
Lately we haven't seen as many like dramatic like tips like that. I mean, the economy is kind of not great, so
Right.
and people are not even going out as much, so like we haven't really seen too much of it lately. But I don't think I've ever seen one pass like 500 for a server at one
That's a
time.
lot, though. 500.
Yeah, but
The
Wow.
the bartenders are the ones that get that, because the bar regulars, they love the bartenders. They are spoiled.
Well, I had one make a really good drink for me one night. It was
Mhm.
that one guy that was sitting next to me,
Mhm.
and we were kind of talking about, oh, I like pineapple, oh, I like coconut. And he'd ask if I had this. Remember that one night?
Yes.
And we made up our own drink. The
Yeah, I mean,
bartender
absolutely.
was awesome.
I love to do that. When I was a bartender, my favorite thing was when people would tell me to like surprise them or like make them
Mhm.
something based on like a description of what they like. A lot of bartenders, like, they complain about this, but I actually really enjoy it. I loved making the drinks. That was like the only thing I liked about bartending. So that's awesome. I love making things like I hope someone likes, and they turn out to really love it, and like they, it makes them smile. It just feels good.
Thank you so much, Mad Dog. We
We've
really
been talking
appreciate-
about this for months.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we finally pulled it off, and you were wonderful. And if you're ever dying, maybe ask him, do you have a manager here by the name of Mad Dog? We can't tell you the name of the restaurant.
No, we can't.
Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. We know where to find you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be
Thank
there.
you
Thanks,
so
Mad Dog.
much. We'll see
You're
you
so
soon.
welcome. Thank you guys
did
for having
great.
me.
Tell
You
your
guys have a good
fiance
night.
hello. No, thank you.
Of course. Thank you so much.
That
Have
was
a good one, guys. Thank you for everyone listening.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Signing
Bye.
off.
You look beautiful.
So that's Mad Dog. We've been planning for this for months.
Yeah. She's so mature for her age. And
Yes.
she's told some really wild stories. Do you remember the one where she said the couple came in with their child and then they disappeared and left the child
No.
in the seat by, it was like less than 2 years old, and they
Child
found him
still
in
there?
the bathroom having sex in the men's bathroom.
Wow.
Remember? She
No.
told us that. I was like, how do you guys do this? Like, this is like incredible. I don't know how they do it. We don't see things that they see or have to deal with when we go in. We're like, give me water. Like, I want that water. Keep coming. You know, oh, you messed my order up. You know what I'm saying? And here they have all these things that we don't see or know are happening in a restaurant.
By the way, I got to tell you, we got a couple emails from listeners who went to Sushi Bang Bang
Yes.
and loved it.
Yes, I do know that.
We got
Mhm.
we were at, is it last week? Yeah, we
Last
were at
week.
Sushi Bang Bang, and it's in Boynton. Wonderful restaurant. If you like sushi, I got a new one today. Someone told me about in Boynton, right down the street, and I wrote it down, so I've got the name of it. He said it was the best sushi he's ever had, but I got to tell you, Sushi
I don't
Bang
think
Bang.
anyone could beat Sushi Bang Bang.
Oh,
I'm
and get the
serious.
lobster roll.
Oh, yes.
It's $30, but it feeds 2 people.
Or
though.
more, actually. They can feed 3 people, I
It's-
think.
Oh my God, it's wonderful. Everything that we had there we were blown away. That's another great restaurant. And next week, what are we having next week?
I don't know yet.
Oh, we don't know, but
No,
we're working on a restaurant called
Breakfast.
Green
I
Owl.
think
Is that
I
right?
think it was the Green Owl.
Yeah, it's a breakfast
Breakfast.
lunch restaurant. It's in Boynton. You know, it seems like we're doing a lot of Boynton restaurants, but for some reason, Boynton has had
It
so
is the
many.
Green Owl.
Okay.
And it's definitely in Boynton on Woolbright Road. And it's they're known for their eggs Benedict and their French toast.
Ooh, I can't wait. We're going to be doing a tasting there next Monday.
Yes.
And
It's a family owned.
yeah,
It's
and it's
a
another one
small-
of those small restaurants, you know, how we try to help out that don't have a budget for advertising. And we're going to, if it's good, if it's not, we're not going to promote it, and we're going to let you know.
My God, they're very close to Sushi Bang Bang,
Yeah.
actually.
But there's, for those of you who don't know Boynton very well, there are so many new restaurants coming into Boynton. I don't know why they're all choosing Boynton to open up in. Boynton and Coral Springs are the 2 hottest places for new restaurants. And I guess that's it for
We
us
have
today.
30 minutes. It goes so fast every single week. It just flies by. It flies by.
Mad Dog looked good, didn't she?
She looked beautiful.
I almost didn't recognize her.
Oh, I recognized her.
Okay, well,
She
you're
was-
smarter than I am.
She's beautiful. Please visit our website, www.eatandcritique.com, and subscribe to our
Free.
YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube.
You'll know what's going on with our show, and
You'll get to see videos from the past and
Yeah.
present. And we will see you next Monday, 6 p.m.
more Ask the Experts.
Thank you so much. Eat and
Not next
Critique.
Monday.
Thank you. Oh, it's Memorial Day.
Oh,
Oh.
thank you for telling us that.
We'll see you in 2 weeks with the Green Owl Restaurant. Thank you. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. Stay safe. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Rebel. Wow, it's Memorial Day.
You've been listening to the Eatin' Critique Show with your hosts, award-winning restaurant critics Steve-O and Sophia, brought to you by Incontro Italian Cuisine and Steakhouse, located in Coral Springs on the Walk. Be sure to join us again next week as Steve-O and Sophia interview top local restaurant owners and chefs. Steve-O and Sophia are known for their pure honesty when it comes to reviewing local restaurants. See you next week.